Hello and welcome back. Today's video I will be ranking my Pat McGrath palettes. Now I only have 4 of them, but I did kind of want to also do a bit of review on each one and kind of give my thoughts on maybe which I think would be best, depending what you are interested in. I have ranked my entire eyeshadow palette collection and my highlighters and all of that, and also eyeshadow palettes by brand. I have ranked ColourPop and Juvia's Place. So I will link all of that in the description box if you do want to see more ranking videos. I really do enjoy the Pat McGrath formula. I don't think it's my #1 formula. I think I mentioned in another video. I do probably prefer Natasha Denona over Pat McGrath, but they are quite different. But I really do love these palettes, and even though I'm ranking them, I actually enjoy all 4 of them, and I would recommend all 4 of them depending on kind of what you're looking for. And let's just get started. All right, 4th place is this mini. This is the Eye Ecstasy Subversive. Now, I do really enjoy this palette. The only reason it is in last place is just that I have not used it as much. And these minis are $28 and you get 5 eyeshadows. She only has 2 of them. I do have the other one that I'll be sharing later. And this is 5 metallic shades. These are beautiful, okay? These are amazing metallic eyeshadows. Let me just give you some swatches. They are stunning. So I really have nothing against this palette. I just haven't reached for it as much. And, there aren't any mattes. So, that could be a downfall for a lot of people. Most people would not consider this a complete palette, but yeah, it is beautiful. So here are the swatches there. This red is amazing, got a purple. I've actually done a tutorial with this blue one here, so I'll try to remember to link that video as well. These are stunning, and the thing is about these mini palettes is I actually think she maintained the quality in the eyeshadow. For example, with Natasha Denona, her mini palettes, those have mixed reviews. I like the ones I have, but I don't think they are quite as good as the full size. I think here Pat McGrath maintained the quality in these mini palettes. I think where they cut costs is the packaging. It's very, very flimsy and cheapy, but you know what? It's small and compact, and I don't mind that at all. So I would much rather have them cut costs on packaging than the quality of the formula. So yeah, I mean, these are beautiful. These were little one swipe swatches. And these metallics, it helps to have a wet brush, but you don't actually need it, which is kind of nice. There is not a whole lot of fallout. These are really great to work with. If you want 5 colorful, high quality metallic shades, I actually think this will be a great palette. I just haven't used for it as much because I have a lot of palettes. Okay, spot number 3 is this. This is the Mothership 2 Sublime. This is the only one of the large Mothership palettes I have. I do absolutely love this palette, but I can't believe it, it's not my favorite out of my Pat McGrath collection. Now, these Mothership palettes are $125 for these shades. Now, you do get a ton of product in here. This particular one has 2 mattes, these all satins, and then 4 of these Blitz Astral very glittery shades. The reason I'm ranking this lower is because I don't get that much use out of these. They are beautiful, they are stunning, but her special glittery shades, they have a lot of fallout. They can be a little bit more difficult to work with. They are stunning, but I'm just not wearing glittery eyeshadow on a regular basis. So I just feel like for $125, I'm not getting that much use out of these. I've used these shades a ton, and her matte formula is very smooth, easy to work with. Absolutely beautiful. I really do love this palette, but considering it's $125 and I don't use these shades that much, I don't know that I can really justify the price. I actually did get this for Christmas last year, and I really did want one of her large palettes, and I do love it. I absolutely do, but the reason I have not purchased more of these large palettes is because, again, the glittery shades, I just know I'm not going to wear them that often, and for that price point, I want a palette where I can use all of the shades more often and really get good use out of it. So that's just kind of my thoughts on these large palettes. And almost all of them have a very similar setup where this side is mattes and metallics and then 4 of the glittery shades. Except for, I think, the Decadence palette. That one is, I think it's all metallics. I don't think there's any of these shades in that one. So that is something to think about with these large palettes, and that has been the reason I have not purchased any more of these. But I've used this palette a lot and I absolutely love it. Oh, and I do also have a tutorial with this green, which is stunning, by the way. So I'll try to remember to link that as well. Let me give you some swatches of these shades. I really like this matte. It is very high quality. These two satins, the peach and the burgundy, are two of my favorite shades in the whole palette. And then I swatched the green glitter. And there is a bit, you can see there's kind of like a black, maybe duo effect to this glitter. But yeah, this green one, it's stunning. And if you want to see it in action, like I said, I have that video, but it's just these are more difficult to work with. I think for this price point, you'd want to get really good use out of all these. So I would take that into consideration. At the end of the video, I'll give a bit more on who I think these palettes would be best for. So I'll give a bit more details on that. However, if you really only want to try her glittery shades, and I know a lot of people, that is what they want to try. That is what they want to use from her because she is really known for that. She sells some Blitz Astral Quads, which is basically like you just snapped off like these four in a palette and sells those for $65. She has three, maybe, I think, of those. So they not exactly like this one, but yeah, she's got some colorful ones and some neutral ones. Therefore, if you don't really care about the other stuff and that's all that you want, that may be a really good way to go. And I haven't purchased those because, like I said, I'm not even really using these all that often. Therefore, I don't need to buy a quad of just those type of shades, but they are beautiful. I have nothing against them. It's just, for me, it's not an everyday type eyeshadow. All right, number 2 is this mini palette. This is the Mini Eye Ecstasy Sublime. Honestly, I wish she would release more of these mini palettes because I really do think that they are great. This one I've used so much more. I mean, obviously it is more neutral shades. So here you get 4 metallic shades, and this one is satin with some shimmer in it, but on the eye it looks mostly matte. This shade here is actually a duochrome, and these are stunning. So I don't know if you can see, the shift. This is a red to a green duochrome. I'll try to show you in the swatches. This one is so beautiful, and these shades are very pigmented. They do not require a wet brush at all. I mean, these are just little tiny swatches, and look how foiled and metallic those are. Let's see if you can see the shift on this. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, this is the red to green duochrome. This little palette is stunning. Now, again, not an all-inclusive palette for most people. I do like to use some mattes along with metallics, but you know, I have a lot of palettes and it's just easy for me to reach into something else. Therefore, I don't mind. I think this palette is fantastic, amazing quality. And if you are not interested in her Blitz and Astral shades and you do want to try her metallics and you want some neutrals, this is a good one. It really is. For $28, I think it is a steal, absolutely. And yeah, this one, it's amazing. All right, and the number 1 spot goes to the Golden Opulence. This is one of her 6-pan palettes. These retail for $65. She has several of these. These I've seen tend to be limited edition. Here it is right here. This one you get 4 metallics and 2 mattes. And I think that's what I love about this palette is that I don't have to deal with any of the glittery shades because, like I said, that's not an everyday thing. I get 2 matte shades that I use a lot. The metallics in here are stunning. This formula is amazing. And I will say, I really do think that these metallics and these metallics, the quality is the same. It really is. So I'm happy that she was able to maintain that in her smaller palettes. This one is just, I feel like I can just do so much more with this palette. And also it's more of an everyday palette because, again, there aren't any glitters. You know, my only complaint about this palette is this packaging is like a little annoying and this part doesn't really open all the way. However, she is releasing a rose palette in this size and it doesn't have this extra flap and it just has 1 flap. So I'm glad that she improved that, but it's not that big of a deal. Let me show you swatches because yeah, these are amazing. So yeah, these metallics are amazing. The 2 mattes in here are very high quality, smooth, easy to blend. Again, the shimmers in here don't require a wet brush. This is just a high quality palette and I love pinks and brown, obviously. You know, so the fact that there's pinky eyeshadows in here definitely appeals to me. I love the color story. I love the quality. This one is just amazing, and it really is my absolute favorite out of my Pat McGrath palettes. All right, like I said, I want to give a few more details on these palettes. So the mini palettes, so these are $28 and 0.035 ounces each eyeshadow. That's not a lot, but I mean, honestly, it's not something you're going to go through that quickly. And yeah, like I said, she has maintained the quality in these. Now, these are almost all metallic, except this one does have that satin shade. So that is something to keep in mind. Something else to keep in mind about Pat McGrath is that she does have some repeat shades. 3 of these shades are in the Decadence palette. So there's no way that you would need both this one and the Decadence palette. The Decadence is known for just a bunch of jewel tones. It's absolutely beautiful, but 3 of them are in here. So if you're interested in that one, you know, this would be something to consider. And then this one, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think at least 1 or 2 of these are in some of her other palettes, or she sells singles. She sells single eyeshadows as well. I don't have any of those, you know, but if you really only want one color, that would be an option as well. I just really think you really can't beat the price on these. The packaging, it's a little flimsy, but it's small and compact. And the fact that the quality is just as good as her larger palettes, I think that's really, really impressive. Therefore, this would be something to consider. Now, something I haven't mentioned yet, but I've mentioned in other videos is I highly recommend, if you can, to purchase Pat McGrath products from her website because she does sales all the time. I've bought all of these things on sale. Even this one that my husband bought me for Christmas, he got it for me when it was on sale on her site last year. And these often are 50% off for $14. I've seen that sale happen at least 2 to 3 times this year alone. And this I got for over 50% off, $31, and it's full price $65. Which is absolutely amazing. So considering I got these 6 amazing eyeshadows for $31 is really a steal, honestly, in my opinion, because the quality is so high. You know, therefore, if you can shop from her site, I would recommend that just because she tends to have a lot of sales, particularly around holidays. I know she had one 4th of July weekend. She had another one near, I don't remember, but pretty much most holidays, Pat McGrath will have a sale, and currently she's having a lot of sale on lip products. And as far as how much in this one, the total weight on this is 0.42 ounces. So you obviously get way more product than you're getting in these, but again, you know, if you have a large eyeshadow palette collection, you know, I think these would be fine. And I had a hard time finding how much is in this, but these eyeshadows are huge. I've used this one well over 100 times, and I mean, it looks brand new. It's one of the most used palettes in my collection, but yeah, it doesn't look like it. So you get a whole lot in here and it would last a very long time. So like I said, as far as these larger palettes go, because they are so expensive, $125, I mean, even if you get 20% off, it's still around $100, which is a lot of money to spend for 10 eyeshadows. Now, that is what I would just take into consideration if you would use all the shades. And if you are interested in only these shades, she does sell those separately in quads. I just think it's something to consider. Another thing is, again, she also does have repeat shades. Even if they're not the exact, she has a gold in almost all of her palettes. Now, Pat McGrath is known for golds. If you look at her eye looks online, she does a lot of golds, a lot of jewel tones, a lot of sparkle. It's definitely her style of makeup artistry, so that is something to consider, but all of these palettes have a gold in it, which to me is a little bit much if you're putting a gold eyeshadow in every single palette, especially for those of us that own more than one. You know, they're all a little bit different, but again, something to consider. And I'm pretty sure that at least 2 of these shades are also in another one of her palettes. Therefore, if you already own some of her palettes and you want to buy more, I would highly recommend checking the shade names because, again, she does tend to have some repeats. Alrighty, that is it for this video. I tried to give as much detail as possible. And like I said, I do love all of these. I just think this one I can get the most use out of, you know, compared to some of the others. And I absolutely love this color story. I love this one too, but those sparkly shades, you know, for me, that's just not an everyday type of thing. but I really do enjoy the Pat McGrath quality. I definitely want to buy more of her palettes, but like I said, I've been hesitant to buy more of these just because I don't know that I would really get my money's worth out of them. But yeah, that is it. Please let us know what Pat McGrath palettes you guys have, or what recommendations you have. I'm very, very interested. That is it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.